All right. So, I said that now as a foundation so you understand where I'm coming from, so you understand that the things I'm about to say about Sanctuary Church, I didn't just make them up because you guys pissed me off. I'm telling you I'm a certain kind of person and you don't understand the way that I am, okay? All right. So here's a list of things that I did not like that happened in Sanctuary Church, okay? When Lourdes was seen obstructing the behavior of Robert and I, who were openly praised by the pastor, when she was seen acting out to clamp down on the activity that the pastor liked, there was no public reprimand. There was no reprimand. So I didn't like that. I didn't like that. You don't have to kill a girl. Okay? You know, when I sued her, I didn't sue her for her job. I just sued her so she could make a public apology. This doesn't kill people. It only kills narcissists. That's it. You know, it doesn't really kill people. It's not really killing the sister. Okay? So if you like us telling the raw, unadulterated truth of how father's wishes were not being honored in the Family Federation, and which is what we were doing, and you appreciated that, and your own member was fighting it, why would you endure that? Obviously, you endured it too long. Because look at what happened. Okay? You should have just reprimanded her, bruh. You should have just reprimanded her. Okay? Maybe Robert wanted her head. I didn't. Okay? Because actually, I love her as a sister. The way I love all you. That's why I'm doing a video like this, because something's going on in this movement. You want to like have gay blessings and shit like that? Not Sanctuary, but Family Fed. Something's fucked up in this movement. You understand that, right? Now, most people that realize that there is some passive aggressive problem with the church leadership, jealous of their own genius of their own members and all of that, they just leave. You understand? They just leave the movement. But I saw through it. I understand where it came from. And I said, these people need help. I still feel like that. So anyway, I didn't like the fact that she wasn't corrected. Okay? The fact that she wasn't corrected for obfuscating or obstructing something that I felt I was doing in service to the pastor. The pastor didn't protect that which he thought was beneficial to his ministry. Okay? No big deal. I can actually get over that because I'm not an actual owner of that ministry. So if he doesn't want to defend it, that's actually his prerogative. But I didn't like it. Okay? The second aspect of what she did was she created in a Facebook group that I helped her populate the first 1,000 members of this group. And after I helped her populate the first 1,000 members of this group, she started to regulate my behavior. If I had to do a smackdown on a fool that was playing games, being intellectually dishonest, which I felt that I had to do for certain reasons, she showed more a form of relativism by saying, no, all opinions are equal. Now, if the pastor on Sundays was clearly saying this opinion, that opinion, and that opinion are bad, and allowed this philosophy, that philosophy, and this other toxic philosophy to exist in a leadership structure, he was clearly pouring fire out, hypothetically, on certain attitudes. When we see those attitudes online, why is it that we have to pull punches? I didn't want to pull punches. I wanted to drop fire on those misconceptions. But the female thought that was too harsh. So Sean would also talk about the relationship between a husband and wife, beta males and alpha males, sheepdogs and sheep. And this was his way, his code for actually speaking in lieu of openly reprimanding his own staff to inform them that they have to respect their sheepdogs, that their sheepdogs, which I counted myself as, are there for a good reason. So because he would rather give her she understood these nuances, you understand, but if you didn't have the nerve to say it overtly, she was going to pretend like she didn't understand those nuances. So you see, that method didn't work with a person like that. And she understood what you meant when you talked about the sheepdog, but she was willing, because she was gnashing her teeth at that time, gnashing her teeth with a vengeful attitude towards what she saw as her adversary, which was me. So she wasn't going to let you get her off the trail of putting a hurt on me. If you didn't have the nerve to tell her overtly to stop fighting this guy is good for us, then she wasn't going to take your hints about sheepdogs, okay? And that's exactly what happened. All right, but I didn't like that. I didn't like that. So another thing I did not like, when Doug asked me to take care of a guy that had, when he asked me to take care of Sticky Fingers, and Sticky Fingers was blessed to matched to a blessed child. That didn't work out because he had a bench warrant on the other side of the country. I had him confess to the family. They say, take care of the bench warrant or we'll retract the match. He didn't go and take care of the bench warrant in California, so they retracted the match. He decided that he needed growth, and at the top of the growth stage in a 120-day condition, of course, he comes into conflict and he just leaves, he just leaves and goes on to another central figure. He's shopping for central figures at this point. And then eventually, 2 days after, he does a public matching because he's answering directly to Hyunjin. He slaps the shit out of Hyunjin in his face, damn near, by finger popping that girl over at her house 2 days later. Now this guy compiles a dossier out of spite, you understand, of all my harsh comments, which I stand by my harsh comments. But none of you worms came and talked to me directly about that dossier and why I said this and why I said that. You were in Congress more with Sticky Fingers, who put the dossier on your table, than coming to tell me directly. Why did you say this? Why did you say that? What you did was try to train me by withdrawing affinity from me until I, quote unquote, learned my lesson. That's your nonverbal. You're filled with nonverbal, seemingly non-confrontational methods. But those methods didn't work with a stubborn person like Lourdes. And the methods that work with me are, you can come talk to me directly. But I didn't like the fact that you couldn't see through the fact that Sticky Fingers is the kind of guy that if you won't stop him, he'll play with your kids in your face. And because you're not the type of person that wants to be confrontational, he'll use that to his advantage. That's the type of person he is. And I saw that there were not a lot of people who had what it took to deal with a person who's, in the hood we call it, he's playing you close. Okay? Playing you close is like a guy who's flirting with your wife because he knows, in your face, because he knows you don't want to have a confrontation. Okay? So he gets closer and closer and he says more stimulating things to your wife until you either reach a breaking point or she decides to go meet him somewhere in secret. But you understand what I'm saying? So most people in the sanctuary were that type of person. So this guy was pissed off and he knew I was in the minority. So that dossier was just a plot to separate the benefits that come with the sheepdog from you. And instead of you being clear enough to understand what the hell was going on, or to at least distrust that this guy has no standard of sexual integrity, right? Zero. Zilch. Instead of seeing through to that and seeing that he just wants to get rid of the only cop that's really there, you actually followed his lead. You actually served his purpose. I didn't like that. Okay. So, I didn't like the fact that you told me, Sean, that there's an upside down kingdom. The church leaders are in a servant position. If there's a problem with a public servant, a year later, you said if there's a problem with a public servant and I or any citizen fails to deal with it, then the person, I, am responsible for allowing political Satan. Now, since you were talking micro, macro, here I had all this evidence of Lourdes undermining me by sending requests to people through DM messages to serve you by thwarting me and defaming me online. Now, because I was in love with you at the time, there's no way I would think that you sanctioned that. So I thought, here's a rogue public official, and I can't just do the Christian thing that I had done 7 times with Lourdes, turn the cheek, and just go, forget about it. Because you said, you can't run. You said that to me personally. I said, hey, I keep thinking I'm a forgiver. And he was like, you can't run. As if it was my fate to practice this dealing with methodology rather than to turn the other cheek and forgive 70 times 7 times, right? And that becomes the reason why, the final reason why I file. You made use of the file, but later on you claim that I wasn't put up to it by you. So in other words, you take no responsibility in the fact that I formally filed something trying to deal with her at all. You didn't take any responsibility. I didn't like that. I didn't like it. I don't appreciate it. Okay. After Lourdes failed to say that she was a citizen, okay, we know that Tim Elder said there is no Chunoguk, so she was like, I can't be a citizen because there's no Chunoguk, Tim said. So she gets out of the first court, and then he created a voluntary court and treated a non-citizen as if she was equal to a citizen. You got to understand. You said these people are under Father's authority. In what realm do you think true Father is the master of? A realm of people who are still Satan's children? They still on a satanic emotional diet? The woman doesn't even see herself as a glorified, the ultimate one, Father said, as a person who is a citizen of Chunoguk. And we're equal. I'm already over that hurdle, and she's not, but we're equal. So in my affidavit to drop the case, I called out civil relativism, that the problem with the voluntary court is that it instituted the midway position of civil relativism. And that was a big spiritual problem. But hey, you may not be sharp enough to understand how that's a problem, but hey, that I didn't like that. I didn't like it that when she said, I told you she wouldn't sign that she's a citizen, and you told me in the gazebo or in the back, in next to the pond in your backyard, you told me, well, then you won. And I thought, yeah, there's a way of looking at it where I won, because she gave up heaven. In flight from her reckoning, she would rather leave heaven. I thought, yeah, that's a win too. And you saw the way that I saw. Okay? But then I said to you, I got a whole team, and there's 7 other people that want to file against this woman. And now they'd be complaining against the non-citizen. I said, what about going after the World Mission Department? You gotta understand, I was only looking for apologies. I wasn't looking for murder. I wasn't looking for incarceration. So when you looked at me as if, how could you have the nerve to go against the World Mission Department? And you effectively warned me off. And that caused the temptation for me to go for the voluntary court, which was baked in civil relativism. So I didn't like that you wouldn't let me go after the World Mission Department, where a more level-headed person, Tim, could go through and say, on behalf of failing to have a good enough oversight over his alien worker, okay, who she's like, she has a worker visa in Chunoguk, right? She's hired by the World Mission Department. The World Mission Department should say sorry to the patrons for actually harming the citizenry. The World Mission Department is the agency that's recognized in Chunoguk. So on behalf of the person that they hired, who is an alien, a foreign national, they should issue the apology to the people, because public officials should not go around recruiting people to purposely defame citizens of Chunoguk. The second thing that public officials should not do, they should not assert that it is the so-called king of Chunoguk who secretly, in a clandestine operation, wants these people to aid in the defamation of that citizen of Chunoguk. The public official should not assert that if they come to her aid, they'll actually be helping Hyungjin, who actually wants this defamation to go forward. Do you see this? Just completely unresolved. And there's really no will there to deal with it. So you live normalizing hypocrisy. You live in a state where you have hypocrisy now baked in to the founding history of your organization. And it's baked in there, bro. I mean, if I didn't do this trying to help you recognize and I'm trying to help you recognize what's baked into your organization. You can pretend it's not there, but it is there. And if I know the enemy, he'll use it when it best suits him. Not when you're ready or whatever. But you ought to know that it's in there because of choices that were made. Okay? But I'm telling you, I did not like the fact that you would not let me go after the World Mission Department, which was the next logical step, because it left the citizen with no spectacle of apology from the servant realm, which is microcosmic of the archangelic realm. Now, if you understand me, it is the servant realm or the ministers class of the third Israel, which is Unification Church, that have been given the fourth Adam the problem. And they didn't bow down to the liberated people of God. Nobody from the archangelic realm has bowed down to the liberated people of God. It's always been crucifixion or bust. And I was seeking to have a formal apology which represented a peaceful surrender of people representative of that realm. And I thought, because you always posed as if you understood these things, especially after suffering at the hands of the family Fed goons, right? That you understood what we were up against. I was mistaken. The way your protectionism is the next thing I'm going to tell you I didn't like. You protected your World Mission Department. Yes, it was a tool. Yes, you commissioned it. But it was a tool, and it was an error. And your tool was more valuable to you than the citizens. You wouldn't let the citizens stand the way you said that they should stand and correct your World Mission Department. That's called protectionism. I didn't like it. Now I'm telling you, as a citizen of Chumaguk, I didn't like it. The next thing I didn't like. Lourdes had a problem with me embarrassing her. Now you got to understand, this whole embarrassment thing doubles as something else. You could call it telling the truth about shit she did. If Lourdes never wants to be cast in a bad light, perhaps she shouldn't provide the cosmos with an opportunity to do it, and she should refrain from those little urges that she has to be wicked, because I think it was very wicked to hunt around online for people to purposely defame me. Okay, I thought that was ridiculously heavy-handed on her part. So she gets to do this, but she then also gets to generate another plan, and she gets white knights to help her, and she generates another plan to never have to be cast in the light of someone who would do that. While she is actually someone who would do that. So Lourdes wanted the gag order. Okay? She is seen after Jim Bohr issues the gag order of asking if this includes online communications that have already gone out about the court case. In other words, she wanted stuff that's been shared online expunged prior to the case. And the judge says, "Oh, no, don't erase anything," because you can't destroy evidence, right? No, don't erase anything. But she was so highly invested in protecting her image, an image that she should own. She should own it, because she did choose to approach people online, DM them. Those people secretly, my friends, take screenshots and send it to me. Which just got silly, but so she actually did that, right? So she wants the gag order. Then two of my friends signed an affidavit that she broke the gag order. But she wants the gag order. She doesn't want to be gagged. Okay? In the meantime, Richard tried to trick me into breaking the gag order. I don't like Richard for that. But anyway, move on. I am doing this because of that gag. That gag order mean that because all these people had, including the judge, had conflict of interest, he works next to Cookchin. Cookchin asked Andrew K., who's a lawyer in the community, to defend Lourdes. What is the IG doing asking for a defense lawyer? What is the IG doing asking for a defense lawyer? So this is filthy with conflicts of interest, you understand? So why would I think, after I know that Andrew K. was asked to defend Lourdes by the IG? Oh, no. The IG does not want Lourdes to have to squirm. And he's actually in bed with Lourdes because he wants to join her in her plot to escape the squirming. Okay? So tell me what you did or said to me that would make me believe otherwise. No, you should not be trying to secure counsel for her. Okay? As a matter of fact, I shouldn't even have to be the one to sue. You should sue the public official. Okay, you should prosecute the public official after I bring the evidence to your attention. That's the role of an IG. You go after, you defend the citizen. No, you didn't do that. You defended the public official. It's sick. You understand? That's sick, especially since you wrote the Constitution. That's. Do you understand how sick that is? See, you're a true child, so you don't think that actually, contradictions. You get to escape contradictions because you're a true child. That's sick too. Okay? No, you're strictly in contradiction. All right. So Jim Poore set up this gag order, which benefits the public official, and all the wagons are being circled, including Cookchin's, gold-plated wagon is circling the public official. So I'm like, they're going to drag this court case on. I get a REMA that says I'm in a trap. And I'm like, you know what they could do? They could drag the court case on. So I'm perpetually in a gag order to make me be quiet indefinitely, to make me stop railing against this clear wrong. Like, growing up in the hood, I never really thought that I'd be treated like a bitch. And you Koreans had the nerve to set me up like I could be treated like a bitch. Oh, I can just hear you now, Cookchin. Oh, the guy wants his court case? Okay. Hey, Jim, put a gag order on him, and then we'll just, we'll have extension after extension after extension. And then, Lourdes, you'll be out of hot water because you won't be able to talk about the case. And Lourdes is like, oh, thank you. And then you implement your plan. Now, even if that never happened, your lack of transparency doesn't prevent me from supposing that that's a possibility. And then I get a REMA that says I'm in a trap. Okay, so I didn't like your lopsided gag order. Jim, I didn't like it. And as an IG who's responsible for all these things, Cookchin, I didn't like it. And as a supposed king who's supposed to be looking into these things, and the fact that, I really couldn't impress upon you how unfair the gag order was and how it wasn't even sound according to your own constitution, and you didn't make the judge dissolve the gag order, which you should have done. I didn't like that. So, you know what the first court case would have been? The first argument of the first court case? It would have been a citizen arguing for his own right to speak, which is ridiculous. That's a ridiculous thing to set down. Do you know what Providence requires the first case to be? It is the angel saying sorry for giving the child of God a hard time. That's Providence. And you didn't see Providence. So, as far as I'm concerned, all the people who don't know the times, they don't know the signs of the times, they were invaded by Satan. When they decide to listen, be swayed by Lourdes' tears, Jerry, Doug, those guys, they were conscripted into Satan's army. Yes. Because I'll tell you, there is providential parallel and reason why fourth Adam has to have a reckoning with the spirit of the third Israel. And all your inner circle people, they're telling you, Jamal, he doesn't answer to anybody. Fuck no, I'm not supposed to answer to anybody as a citizen. You understand? It's a new era. See, they're coming out of the old Cain Abel imperative shit. So if you can't differentiate between that, you're not really ready for prime time, Hyung Jin. So these guys are informing you, okay, as your advisors from time to time, and their opinions are completely filthy with the third Adam's realm, which was a realm requiring indemnity because Baek Moon Kim failed. Okay? And so the people that have to pick up and eat crow that Bacon Kim couldn't eat are the Unification Church leaders. And you see, they won't eat crow. That's why you wound up in Pennsylvania. But when your people have the same spirit, they force you into hypocrisy. You see that? Did you see that?